Ever hear of hypothyroidism? Simply put, it's when your thyroid activity is very low. This will trigger many signs and symptoms in your body that you should not ignore at any cost. Things like not being able to grow, or slow reproduction and metabolism, or your hair falls out. These are just some of the common symptoms you should take note of and get diagnosed as soon as possible. Now, with that said, let's dive right into 10 signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism that you should not ignore. Starting off at number 10, a depressed mood. Depression is no doubt one of the biggest issues, especially in today's society. Surprisingly, the butterfly-shaped small gland in your neck could be a big reason for your depression. It might sound strange at first, but the balanced secretion of thyroid hormones is very important to lighten up your mood. According to a 2012 study, thyroid patients with hypothyroid diseases are more likely to get depressive symptoms. This means depression is directly linked with low levels of thyroid hormones. This is why many hypothyroid patients suffering from depression find that thyroid replacement therapy works way better than antidepressants. This is because hypothyroidism interferes with special hormones of the brain called hypothalamic pituitary thyroid. Any changes in the levels of this hormone, either with normal or abnormal thyroid, can cause an episode of depression, stress, and anxiety. These hormones can also change your memory, learning, and behavior. Number 9, hair thinning and hair loss. Is your hair density decreasing day by day? Are you suffering from hair loss? These could very well be major signs of thyroid abnormalities. But wait! Isn't every second person today suffering from hair loss? So how exactly would you confirm if your hair loss is linked to hypothyroidism? Well, in this situation, the first thing you need to observe is how much hair loss you are experiencing, because excessive hair loss is never normal. Generally speaking, in hypothyroidism, you lose up to 100 hairs daily, which is manifested as thin hair. According to the British Thyroid Foundation, hair loss is a sign of hypothyroidism and hyperthyroidism, but it should involve the whole scalp rather than specific areas. The reason behind this is hypothyroidism lowers your T3 and T4 hormones, which ultimately affect the development of your hair from the root. As you would already know, our hairs grow from the root, get nourishment from oil glands, and then fall after some time because they need to be replaced by new hair. But in hypothyroidism, you lack the regrowth cycle of hair, which is why you get baldness. Number 8, a puffy face. Have you ever seen a person with very puffy cheeks and sunken eyes? It is actually one of the most common signs of hypothyroidism. Doctors say that prominent cheeks, especially in females, is the sign of abnormal thyroid activity. Hypothyroidism reduces kidney function by lowering blood circulation and energy production. Because our kidneys remove waste materials from the body and filter the blood. That's why when the kidneys are affected by thyroid, your body will start to accumulate different toxins. The more waste that builds up in your body, the more soluble your cells become to maintain correct water levels. This, however, ultimately results in puffy skin and a puffy face. The decreased blood circulation in hypothyroidism is also responsible for puffy faces. But one thing we should point out is that puffy face symptoms only occur after a very long period of hypothyroidism, which means your thyroid gland is in danger. Number 7, muscle soreness. Your muscle function depends largely on your thyroid levels. This is why you will always find hypothyroid patients suffering from muscle soreness. An underactive thyroid causes hypothyroid myopathy, which is a condition where the muscles around your hips and shoulders become weak. In some people, hypothyroidism also causes painful muscle cramps and stiffness that can even result in acute muscle breakdown. Sounds frightening, right? Well, abnormalities in hypothyroidism only become frightening if left untreated. That's why it's very important to get a thyroid diagnosis by your specialist as soon as you find any of these symptoms manifesting. Number 6, weight gain. If you gain rapid weight Don't beat yourself for not sticking to your diet. Many times, a sudden weight gain may have nothing to do with your diet or exercise, but instead because of an underactive thyroid. Remember that we discussed that thyroid hormones are involved in many functions, like metabolism. Well, this is where the role of metabolism comes in handy. Or not. Thyroid hormones help control the metabolism of carbohydrates, proteins, and vitamins. So the deficiency of thyroid hormones decreases the metabolism, leading to, any guesses? Yep, fat accumulation. This excess weight gain and fat in hypothyroidism is also because of excess salt and water retention. Depending on the severity of your thyroid, you may gain anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds in body weight. Number 5. Tiredness. You may have tried going to sleep early so you can get a good night's rest, but somehow no matter how much sleep you get, you just always feel tired, sluggish, and fatigued during the day. Does any of this ring a bell? Yeah. Chronic fatigue is largely triggered by an underactive thyroid, and it's another symptom you shouldn't ignore. As a matter of fact, fatigue or sluggishness is a universal sign of hypothyroidism. The reason behind this is obvious. Your thyroid levels are insufficient to run effective metabolism in the body. This reduces the fuel supply to your muscles, body organs, and especially the brain that makes you feel tired. This means your organs demand more energy. But when the body fails to provide this energy, what does your body do? Well, it shuts down certain cells in your body, which leads to you feeling out of energy and sluggish. This is also why most of the teenagers that experience hormonal changes in the body are more likely to suffer this symptom of hypothyroidism. Number 4. High blood cholesterol levels. According to the well-known Mayo Clinic, hypothyroidism increases the risk of heart failure. Low levels of thyroid hormones stops your body from removing bad cholesterol from the blood. This can affect your blood filtration of the liver, causing you to develop conditions like clots that can block your artery and cause heart attack. What's truly surprising is that even a slight reduction in your thyroid can spike the levels of bad cholesterol. Again, this shows how important it is to get early treatment for hypothyroidism. It's because high cholesterol levels in the blood can, over time, damage your arteries, increase blood pressure, and also cause diabetes. Number 3. Difficulty in concentration. As you know by now, hypothyroidism can damage many vital organs in your body, including, of course, your brain. Signs of mental confusion with difficulty in concentration and weak decision-making power are very much related to the low functioning of the thyroid gland. Research says that hypothyroidism greatly affects the verbal memory and learning power of a person. This is due to the decrease in the size of the hippocampus, and that helps in memory formation. Hypothyroidism also decreases the availability of glucose to your brain. This means that the supply of fuel to your brain is very low, which can offset symptoms of forgetfulness, mental confusion, and difficulty in concentration. The studies even warn that if left untreated, hypothyroidism can get so severe, causing cell damage to the brain and the fetus, ultimately causing mental retardation. Number 2. Increased sensitivity to cold. People with hypothyroidism have a very low cold tolerance and feel cold even at high temperatures. You may have even noticed hypothyroid patients walking with thick layers of jackets in hot weather. This is because thyroid hormones support special chemicals that insulate our bodies from the cold environment. These chemicals produce heat in our bodies to keep us warm, decrease the sensitivity to cold. But in hypothyroidism, the opposite occurs. The low functioning of thyroid glands slows metabolism, reduces heat levels in the body, and that makes you feel cold. Now, before we show you the most commonly ignored symptoms of hypothyroidism, if you are learning from today's video so far, then do us this favor: smash that subscribe button. Also, leave a comment saying I subscribed so we can personally reply to each of your comments. Number 1. Irregular menstrual cycle. Having irregular periods and immense pain before the cycle begins can be blamed on thyroid dysfunction. Thyroid diseases play a clear part in altering the rhythm of the menstrual cycle in females. This is because hypothyroidism decreases the egg-releasing ability of women and causes heavy periods. Some studies even show that hypothyroidism affects the lining of the reproductive organs and causes heavy irregular bleeding. In some patients, the low levels of thyroid hormones disturbs the release of sex hormones, which can cause infertility in women and decreases the chances for women to conceive. Have you ever experienced any of these signs or symptoms? Did you get diagnosed? How did you cope with hypothyroidism? Let us know in the comments below. And to see the next best health hack,